The Netflix series The Social Dilemma is shining a light on the addictiveness of social networks. Have you noticed how you go to do something on your smartphone or computer and just get totally lost doing something entirely different? There are so many psychological tricks at play here. Joining us for a chat about it and how we can tackle the addictive side of social media is human behaviour specialist and author of Add Value. It's Mark Carter. Hi there, Mark.
Hi, Jenny. How are you doing?
I'm really well, thank you. And hey, look, it's no accident that most of us are facing a social network addiction, is it?
No, I mean, the tools, if you've seen The Social Dilemma, which is really quite fascinating, you've got so many insiders coming out and talking about the design of the tech. And it's the design of many of the features on the technology. It's there to draw you in, to give as much as your time and energy as possible to these platforms. So, yeah, of course, the tools are designed to do exactly that. And they do it very well, don't they?
Absolutely. You know, you got your ding, your bing, you've got the red light, the red notification symbol, just little things that actually very purposefully placed in those places.
Yeah, I mean, even things like the refresh feed. You hear the guys talking about that. That's there to give you a quick dopamine reward rush. Every time you refresh, there's something new. The infinite scroll, right?
Yep.
Keep scrolling. You're never going to reach the bottom. Up next makes it easy, right? Because we know you so well, let's spoon feed you rather than you having to use your energy or thought time. Probably my favorite, I love that, the wriggling three dots, ellipsis. Right? You've waited then with bated breath, anxiously or eagerly, depending on the scenario. What's the reply going to be, right? You got to get it straight away. So it's all these, they're designed to draw you in. And it's, it's not necessarily bad. It's just being aware that they're designed for that and having a more conscious choice as to whether you want to play that game and get into it or not. That's
absolutely. Yeah, because it might not always be that bad, but what sort of ramifications can social media addiction have?
Yeah, well, this is what's coming out, and that's really the question, right? And it's when we're getting sucked into it, there's definitely signs and links now where it can have an interplay with negative things like mental health. How we see ourselves, our self-confidence, that definitely comes into play, and that's highlighted in that documentary. It's something some of those leads have been talking about for years. It's not for somebody else to come and tell you how you should use it. I agree. These tools are fantastic. They serve a place. I use them myself. It's just conscious choice of it and realizing, asking ourselves better questions. Is this making me feel better? Is this adding value to my world? Or if I'm more anxious and stressed, maybe there's a clue there as well that maybe I'm getting drawn into it a little too much.
Absolutely. Now, one of the things that I do is I'll deliberately put my phone, off to get charged or something for when I get home. I think, honestly, I deserve a moment to not get sucked in, right? Is that really important to minimize screen time purposefully?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, the thing is, right, minimizing screen time, that's one of the tips I would talk to. When we're binging other things, let's say you went on an ice cream bender, all right, and you're binging Ben and Jerry's, it's not as harsh because you can't fit a fridge freezer in your pocket. So you're not going in and out of your pocket for ice cream every 20 seconds. But this thing's in a hand, every beep, bling. There's even a symptom where they say people imagine they've heard their phone beeping and blinging when it actually hasn't because they're picking it up so often. So yeah, this minimizing screen time is literally a lot of those times. Curate your times and then be where you are. You're actually more productive when you do that anyway. I mean, there's science that backs that up as well. Our productivity and efficiencies improve when we're not constantly being distracted by our devices. Right.
So what do you recommend people do? It's easier said than done.
It absolutely is. I mean, that's down to individual. But for me, for example, I know like as a speaker, I go on stage, I don't leave my phone with me when I'm going to do a talk or present or if I'm in a training session. And this is an idea I taught us, be where you are, right? If I'm on a stage, there's no reason for me to be taking selfies from stage. I've got to be there for the audience that I'm presenting with. That's what I'm there to do. If I'm out with my friends having dinner, be where you are. Be with your friends and enjoy the quality time we have them. I don't need to be on my phone. Give yourself those times when you do want to check in. Just allotting times in your calendar, no different than the way you might curate your working day. We have blocks of time to do certain tasks. We can maybe just build in some blocks of time to check in with our friends and do some social stuff.
With me at the moment is human behaviour specialist and author of Add Value, Mark Carter, talking about social media addiction. Another one for me, turning off notifications. That has been amazing. It means I get far less distracted than I would have otherwise gotten.
I love that one too. I even relate that one to email. And in fact, I think Tristan Harris was on the Social Dilemma, said that's his biggest one. And the funny thing with email, right, when you send email, I've never sent an email where my expectation is the person receiving it should then contact me straight away because I know they've got other things in their life. Yet so many people, the minute a notification flags up, they stop what they're doing to look at the headline. And why is that? There's no expectation on us too. So it's literally just those distractions that we can curate ourselves. So I love that you do that. I think that's one of my favorites too. Just turn them off.
Yeah, absolutely. I know people who get emails at 4 o'clock in the morning and it'll wake them up. It just, you're not going to have a productive day if that happens.
No.
And also you recommend uninstalling or even deleting apps.
For sure. I've done that myself, for sure. I mean, again, that comes down to personal choice. You go, which platforms? I mean, you're encouraged to be on everything. And yes, there's a handful of major ones. But it's really hitting pause and asking yourself, does this add value to my world, either personally or professionally? And I know for me, even though you follow those instructions and advice and specialty fields, but I go, look, there's a couple of platforms that just don't do anything for me on either of those fronts. So I just delete them. Like Instagram. I know other people love it. I got rid of it. Twitter is another one. I just don't particularly enjoy the platform for many reasons. It certainly doesn't do anything for me, so get rid of it. I've kept a couple, So it's finding the ones that work for you, personally and professionally. Again, does it help you hit your goals? Not that you're getting drawn into it. Does it help educate you more efficiently? Does it help you feel more fulfilled? When you ask yourself those questions and you ask and answer them honestly, it helps you realize which ones maybe you wish to keep and which you might want to delete.
Absolutely. And another thing that you can do with, for example, Facebook is you curate the content and you recommend choosing content to not be spoon-fed and to have, the right people that are good friends on your social networks that can improve your experience as well.
Yeah, there's a great study by Robin Dunbar, and he studied primates, and he came up with this magic number of primates have this small social connection network that they can have quality relationships with. And he plugged those findings into human beings, and it spat out this number that's now become known as Dunbar's number, 150. That's the number of quality relationships we can sustain at any given moment in time. And depending who you talk to, some will say that's barely anything, right? If you haven't got 1,000 connections, what's going on? And others would say that's really far too many because I've got like 5 or 6, which is probably closer to the truth. But the important thing here is to remember is there's people I know chasing 150 connections over a single coffee break over one digital post. At what cost? Because we might be sacrificing the quality relationships in our real world by doing that. So yes, curating your contacts, filtering your friends is probably a better way of filtering on some of these devices. Not to not be connected, but just be more aware of who you're letting into that world and that circle.
And tell us a little bit about your book, Add Value.
Yeah, look, it's a subject I've been passionate about for 16, 17 years. I went down this rabbit hole of studying what are our values and why do people value what they do. And then on the tail end of that, I've identified this model or framework that helps us because essentially there's 5 core elements. There's personal value, which is based on the individual nature of who we all are. There's tangible value, which is like the value language of business. And then there's the others, emotional value, service value, and relationship value. And when we have a better understanding of these 5 concepts and the causes for each of them, we can basically improve the quality of our world. We can live to our values. We can appreciate or communicate with other people more efficiently as well. So it's just a nice model that actually ties in with this idea of blending human connection with technology in the digital age. It's kind of good timing for that too.
Very important. Oh, well, lovely to have you on the program today. And thanks so much for your time.
Thank you so much for having me on.